So the first discs that I ever threw were a yellow Pro D Buzz and a red DX Wraith. But those weren't necessarily the discs that made me fall in love with disc golf. That disc would actually be a DX Rhino. Now this is an R Pro Rhino, but back in the day, the Rhino in the DX plastic was a little bit better. It was flatter, it was a little more tacky. Nowadays, we all know DX plastic just isn't the same. But I was at a local disc golf shop today, and I saw this thing, a beautiful, clean, flat, white R Pro Rhino with the black stamp. Innova doesn't get much cleaner than the black with the white stamp. So we figured, why not pick it up for some nostalgia, come out here to the course and play around with nothing but the Rhino.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
So the Innova Rhino was PDGA approved in 1998, and some would consider it to be the first ever overstable approach disc. So growing up, the Rhino seemed to be a pretty popular mold. Local Hutchinson, Minnesota legends like Jamie Burrell used to throw he probably still does, a champion Rhino for a bunch of upshots. Sam Pro had probably 4 to 5 R Pro Rhinos in his bag, and even maybe the older ones in R Pro, you know, for putting, throwing. He pretty much threw almost just that. And it was just the only disc that you were gonna pick up for your approach disc needs. To make things a little more interesting today as well, we got 35-mile-an-hour winds and it's about 55 degrees. The Rhino should help us in that situation. Damn. You see, I wish I could remember when I first got my hands on a Rhino. It was probably sometime between 5th and 7th grade. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I had a white DX Rhino, and I put electrical tape, crisscrossed it over the disc, and I colored it in with Sharpie. So I had like this big black X on it, and unfortunately, the story ended when I went to college for a semester, and the only course near campus was along a river. It was in North Dakota, and I launched it into that river, and that river was not a river where you were gonna be getting your disc back. And I was so sad. That disc was, it was like my bread and butter, you know, approach disc. I actually putted the Rhino as well for quite some time, and it was gone forever. I don't think Rhinos have much glide. Yeah, there it is. Woo-hoo. If you've been a follower of the channel for a while, you probably know that I'm a big nostalgia guy, you know. With this disc golf content thing, I get to try out a lot of new discs, but that doesn't mean that almost any of them really make my bag. I love the old school Innova stuff, the old school Discraft stuff. It's not that those discs can't be beat. To be honest, there's probably equal options or maybe even better options than some of the discs. It's more of the fact that I started to throw these discs 15 years ago, and I just have these memories attached to them, which is really the reason it's so hard for me to take them out of the bag. And now the Rhino's a disc that I actually haven't thrown in quite some time. I messed around with a couple of them maybe a year and a half ago, but it was very short-lived. I'm the type of player who, if a disc is ugly, I'm plain and simple not gonna throw it, and it's very hard to find Rhinos that don't come in either like red or yellow, and they're usually domey, and that's just not, I don't like them like that. When it comes to throwing putters or putters, they kind of have to be white to stay in the bag for some reason. I think it's growing up watching players like Nate Doss putt white Challengers. You know, you got Ken Climo putting white KC Pro AVRs, and I think that classic old school look of white discs is, you know, something I've always gravitated towards. And so when we found this one, I was like, okay, this might be the opportunity for me to kind of work a nice clean Rhino back in the bag. Okay, get under the trees. I kind of yanked that. So the Rhino is an overstable disc. I think the numbers are 0.3, the end numbers. But it's one of those discs that the one I threw for so long was so beat up that it was honestly kind of understable. And I haven't really messed around with them for a while. So it'll be interesting to kind of figure out the stability of them again. I think, you know, as flight numbers evolve over the years, I feel like a 0.3 rating that was designed 26 years ago, you know, might not necessarily be a 0.3 rating anymore. So obviously I want to play some good disc golf right now, but also we're just trying to refigure out this disc. The punch throw, which is a approach technique made famous by my buddy Alex Geisinger, where you just punch the disc. You know, you can do it flat, you can do it hyzer, you can do it on a little anti-flex. The Rhino might be one of the best discs made for that style of throw. So we're gonna try here. My fingers are absolutely frozen, so we'll see. Well, that's a good layup. So for the last month or so, I was in St. George, Utah. I was actually still in St. George yesterday, where it's 105 degrees. It's 55 degrees right now, guys. My hands are freezing. I just can't get over how clean this thing looks. Just a little wide open 200 footer here. We're gonna test this thing out in a little side hand sling. Oh yeah, drop, go in. Oh, okay, we're 15 feet short. I feel like the Rhino is kind of one of those forgotten molds. Obviously, Kelvin Heimberg bagged the Champ Rhino for quite some time. He actually has a signature Champ Rhino out this year. But I honestly don't think he really throws the Rhino that much anymore. I think he mainly just throws Toros. And then the OG, Greg Barsby, is really the one keeping him alive, slinging DX Rhinos to this day. And it's just one of those classic molds. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say my hands are so cold right now. I forgot how hard it was to throw when your hands are freezing. That being said, super happy to be on the road again. We're gonna be spending a little bit of time in Idaho here. We're gonna be moving northwest. Just no real plan, just moving that direction, playing some disc golf, seeing some sights, you know, doing it all. Mainly, we wanted to get back into some nice cool fall weather. And man, am I excited for this. I'm not a big fan of 30-mile-an-hour wind. I am a massive fan of about 55 to 65 degrees. So at the shop here, there's actually two of these. They're pretty much identical. I only snagged one just because I don't love buying discs, I'll be honest. Luckily, the amazing perk of being a disc golf creator is you get a lot of discs for free. So when I had to pay for them, it just pains my soul. But if we really like this, we might have to go snag the other one just so we got a backup, because the Rhino is the type of disc that, it's not that I need it in the bag, but I kind of just want it in the bag because it's just like that nostalgic feeling of comfort, of a mold that you once loved. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Don't hit the tree. Don't hit the sidewalk. No. Ah. That's some wind out there. You guys may have noticed my new thrifted Cabela's button down. I'm a huge denim button down guy. So I haven't necessarily been looking for a wind putter because I don't necessarily think that's something like I need, because I don't like to have to make the mental switch of like, oh, is it too windy for my normal putters? I gotta putt something windier. But having the Rhino in the bag would give you that little peace of mind to where, you know, if you got a gusty little headwind putt, you're like, well, let me just bust out the Rhino and spin the shit out of that thing, just put her in. So I actually played a league out here last night, took down MPO, a little bogey-free 12 under par, which felt amazing. Pretty solid. Also, it was a local league, but with a $20 buy-in. So the payouts were kind of fat. It was nice. I like it. Like $20 for a league, I feel like that's basically a flex start. We're gonna go power grip, nice hyzer. Oh no, the wind. Drop, 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 drop. Don't go on the road. Okay, that'll work. So another reason I kind of like the idea of the Rhino is that it doesn't go as far as a putter. Flies similar to a zone / beat up zone, but also doesn't go as far as a zone, because the beat up zones, they kind of launch. No, that's brutal. Nothing worse than some flight plate scuffs. A little right to left, test it out on another little side hand here. That should play. Guys, let me know down below, what's that disc that like made you fall in love with disc golf, or what's that first disc you got that you really connected with, or that disc that just has that nostalgic feeling for you? Let me know. For me, it's definitely the Rhino, the Flex Buzz, which I have one back home in Minnesota, identical to the one I used to love. So I might have to make a video on that whenever I can get my hands back on it. And then I would say the Star Wraith, that'll play. Hey guys, real quick, I hope you're enjoying the video, but if you're looking for a way to support me and the channel, one of the best ways to do that is head over to powergripusa.com. There's a bunch of new releases, the Discmania drop, the KCY FD1 Skywalker, the new iDog I think is called, bunch of other stuff, all your stock discs as well. Use code Broderick10, saves you 10% and directly supports me as well. So like I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, I don't really think the Rhino fits into the category of a 0.3. I just don't necessarily think they're that beefy. Maybe like a flat champion one, but I think for an R Pro, it's probably just a nice sturdy 0.2. Here we go, a little outside the circle spinner. See if we can knock one down. Oh, brutal. Well guys, we made it to the last hole. The R Pro Rhino. Man, this thing feels nice. I think it's just one of those discs that just like makes me feel good, makes me enjoy playing disc golf. You know, when you have a nostalgic disc like this in the hand, it kind of lets you remember like why you started playing this sport, and you know, brings you back some of those just classic memories. So I think this one is gonna definitely have a little trial run in the bag, because why not? You know what I mean? But let me know if there's any other like old school nostalgic discs that you think I should make a little review on. Obviously the review market, you know, on disc golf YouTube is, you know, for views and stuff, it's smart to just do the new releases. That's what's gonna get the views. But to be honest, I don't really give a shit about the new stuff most of the time. So just coming out and tossing some classic frisbees, it's kind of what I'm about, you know? So let me know what like old school discs you think I should come out and kind of not even review, just give a little spotlight to. So last hole, I think this one's like just over 300. Let's see if we can get a little rip here. Oh my, that is so good. That's so straight. Wow. This is just, it just makes me feel good. I better make this putt now. You suck. Alright guys, well, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Creator of Frisbee Club,
The man,
motherfuckers.
the man, the myth.
And right here, I have a frisbee bag. It holds all my frisbees, the ones I like.